Good evening and welcome to KiniNews. Najib Abdul Razak has done it. He has managed to get the police to investigate claims against the Inland Revenue Board regarding his over R1 billion tax bill.
Bukit Aman today confirmed that it has initiated an investigation into Najib Abdul Razak's claim that the Inland Revenue Board acted under political pressure to slap him with a 1.69 billion tax bill. Commercial Crime Investigation Department Director Kamarudin Md Din said the police are investigating the case under Section 468 of the Penal Code, which deals with forgery of documents for the purpose of cheating. Najib lodged the report 2 weeks ago, alleging that a certain IRB official had received instructions from a politician to fine him, despite investigations supposedly finding no tax violation on Najib's side. He said certain IRB officers even met him and apologized. Najib claimed that they admitted that after 3 thorough probes, they did not find any wrongdoing by him. The IRB is seeking over 1.69 billion from Najib with an annual 5% interest rate beginning from the date of judgment, as well as costs and other relief deemed fit by the court. He reportedly did not declare about 4 billion ringgit during the period, including the 2.6 billion which US investigators claim originated from 1MDB. The former Prime Minister argued that he was taxed for income despite returning most of the 2.6 billion 4 months after receiving it. Najib had claimed that the amount was a donation from the Saudi government. This has been debunked by US investigators. The supposed donation was instead part of the tenor phase of the 1MDB money laundering case. The fund's $681 million had been siphoned by Najib's alleged associate Jolo from 1MDB and then channeled to the former Prime Minister. Najib then returned $620 million to accounts controlled by Jolo. Najib is currently appealing to reassess the tax suit after the High Court in Kuala Lumpur last year made a summary judgment ordering him to pay the amount.
Kelantan has one of the lowest vaccination rates in the country, and it's not surprising that it has just recorded its highest number of new cases.
Malaysia reported 14,990 new COVID-19 cases, with Kelantan, the state with the second lowest vaccination rate in the country, reporting record numbers. The East Coast state reported 1,573 new cases, and the number of hospital beds being used by COVID-19 patients are steadily rising. As of September 17, Kelantan notably had a very high positivity rate of 28.9% based on a 7-day average. As of last night, the R0 for Kelantan was 0.99. Meanwhile, Selangor reported 2,414 new cases, followed by Johor with 1,880 cases and Sarawak with 1,712 fresh infections. On another note, earlier today in Parliament, Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin said the government has no plans to build permanent COVID-19 only hospitals. However, COVID-19 assessment centres, or CACs, will remain open nationwide, but this is subject to changes based on the pandemic situation.
The Kedah Menteri Besar today took aim at his predecessor over an alleged multi-million-dollar money transfer to a foreign bank account. However, Mukris Mahathir says he has no idea what Muhammad Sanusi is talking about.
13 million ringgit from Menteri Besar Incorporated had allegedly been moved to a Canadian bank account during the time of Mukris Mahathir. This claim was made by his successor, Muhammad Sanusi Noor, during a virtual press conference held after the Kedah Legislative Assembly session yesterday. Responding to the fresh allegation, Mukris challenged the past leader to issue an official statement detailing his claim and to lodge a police report. The Jitra Assembly person also claimed no knowledge of the supposed fund transfer. According to Sinar Harian, Sanusi said he had never mentioned this to anyone before, making it public yesterday. He also claimed to have proof in the form of a bank transfer slip. According to the report, Sanusi did not reveal who transferred the money, when it happened, the purpose of the transfer, or whether he had reported the matter to the authorities. Set up in 1988, MBI is owned by the state government and controlled by the sitting MB. According to its website, it has interests in mining, property development, telecommunications and energy sectors.
Many of us have been working from home for so long that I don't think we even remember what our office looks like. But 2 ministers and deputies may also have forgotten what their offices looked like, but that's because they received a makeover recently.
As most Malaysians worked from home mostly throughout 2020 and 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government spent 1 million ringgit to renovate and buy new furniture for 4 offices of ministers and deputy ministers in that time. This was revealed by Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob in a parliamentary reply to Segambut MP Hannah Yeo yesterday. He said this amount was for the offices of the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department in charge of Parliament and Law, the Minister in the Prime Minister's Department in charge of Sabah and Sarawak Affairs, and their Deputy Ministers. He said this was according to the guidelines and regulations for building planning by the Standard and Cost Committee, Economic Planning Unit under the Prime Minister's Department. A breakdown of the renovation and new furniture costs was also provided. It added up to a total of 1.07 million ringgit. The renovation for the de facto Law Minister's office cost about 380,000 ringgit, while new furniture for the office was priced at 90,000 ringgit. The government forked out over 200,000 for renovation and new furniture for the Deputy Law de facto Minister's office. The renovation and new furniture for both offices of the Minister and Deputy Minister in charge of Sabah and Sarawak Affairs came up to a total of slightly over 400,000, with furniture at 250,000, while the renovation work cost over 145,000 ringgit.
Nama saya Nur Hadiah binti Abdul Razak. Anak saya Saswani binti Besu, umur 19 tahun. Dia ada penyakit kencing manis. Baru sebulan je. Lepas 2 minggu dia rasa mata dia boleh nampak sikit lah. Mungkin gula dia ada kawal rendah. Mata dia boleh nampak, kalau gula tinggi dia macam kabur sikit. Dulu dia insulin kan. Ubat dia kita kena 14 unit, 12 unit. Sekarang ni kalau injek 8 unit, ada 9 unit, ada 10 unit. Kita kira makanan dia macam mana. Dia minum G-Shell tak injek banyak gula.
Cooley wasn't a fan of the previous government, even labelling it Kerajaan Gagal publicly, and the makeup of the current government has also left him with little choice.
UMNO veteran Tengku Razali Hamzah resigned from his post as the party's Advisory Council chairperson yesterday. In his resignation letter addressed to UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, the Gol Musang MP mentioned the disappointment among the public and party grassroots on the composition of the new government. He said, despite the public and party grassroots having aired their disappointment to see most of the positions in the new government filled by those who came from the previous government, it received the blessing from UMNO leadership. Tengku Razali has been very vocal against the previous Perikatan Nasional Government led by Muhyiddin Yassin. He had, in July, requested that his seat in the Dewan Rakyat be moved to the independent bloc, despite UMNO being part of the coalition that supported the federal government then, saying that he did not want to be seen as a supporter of the government. The veteran politician was also the only UMNO MP who did not support Ismail Sabri Yaakob during the process of choosing a new Prime Minister.
Muhyiddin Yassin appears to be enjoying his new job, and I guess in this current climate, having a job is, well, better than no job.
Muhyiddin Yassin is choosing to look at his resignation as Prime Minister from a positive perspective. Speaking on Astro Awani's program Agenda Awani last night, the Bersatu President said he does not regret the decision to resign from the highest position in the government because it was a step made on the principles of the Federal Constitution. The Pago MP added that he accepted that he had to step down after losing the majority when a faction of UMNO MPs withdrew their support for him. Muhyiddin now chairs the National Recovery Council, or NRC, in his successor's government. He said the resignation has not dampened his spirits to do what he thinks is right, because his priority is still serving the people. Muhyiddin was one of the key players in the Sheraton move that resulted in the fall of the elected Pakatan Harapan government last year.
That's all for KiniNews today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook to get the latest headlines. If you'd like to support the independent media, please do consider a subscription to MalaysiaKini.com. If you're heading out, don't forget your mask. And when you can, please do try to stay home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay safe, Malaysia.